What is up, Collegiate Karting League? We are here with our first playoff match of the season, and it is going to be a good one. We got FIU Gold versus the AAA Wolverines from Michigan. I am Wisp, and I am accompanied here by Air Hockey to cast this match for you. This is a best of three. How are you doing today, Air Hockey?
I am doing great. I'm really excited to see some best of threes. Kind of now that we're at the end of the regular season, it's just there's so much more different. Playoffs are really fun, and I feel like they're always really short. So getting to see so many dibs worth of playoffs, I feel like will kind of quench that just kind of like urge to see something different sometimes. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, and this is a best of three, so we can see potentially up to 3 games between these opponents, which is 3 hours of CKL, war content, which is always interesting to see for y'all. And we're going to start off here with the lineups. So let me pull up my notes real quick. So for FIU Gold, we have Botan, who is currently on the Pacific Northwest Regional Rumble. So that's the most significant thing on with his history. And something to keep in mind with these upcoming players on FIU Gold is that FIU actually made an actual team on MK Central, which is really interesting. And they actually participated in Paradigm and MK Universal season 24. And on that team, I know Silver was on that team. We have Evan Miko, who was on that team, and Sansray, who was also on that team. We also have Start the Cat, who has been playing with FIU since season 2 of CKL, and we have Silverheart, who has been playing with them for a decent bit. Now, over on the AAA Wolverines, we have Cat, who is also the leader of MK Scholars, along with Stuffed Flatbread, who is also on MK Scholars with them. We have Momit, who is a former MK College player, Ryan, who is also on MK College, AJSW, and Zeronic. So lots of interesting stuff here. Now, one thing that we do see is that on AAA Wolverines, a lot of these players play together on MK Scholars. So assuming that they play, a good bit of scrims together, we could see some pretty solid synergy just because they have a lot of experience warring together. Another cool fact about these two teams is that they are both secondary teams to Division One teams, because you'll know about University of Michigan in Division One and FIU in D1. These are their secondary teams, both in D5, going up against each other. So it's really cool seeing both of these teams up against each other in playoffs.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. I know we're both also players in Division Five as well. We've both had our experiences playing these teams. These are both very solid teams, and I think they've been in the same division the past 2 seasons with each other as well. I think for a while Michigan did have the edge, but recently FIU has been getting some more wins over, and I think kind of evening out that career record a little bit more.
Yep. All right. Now it is 10, so I'm assuming the match might be going underway soon. But do you know if the track ban thing is going to be in play for this match?
Yes, so they are going to be playing with the repick rule. For tonight, we are just going to be seeing the first 2 matches of this set. Just due to scheduling issues, they weren't available for all 3 games in one night. So tonight will be games 1 and 2. So we could have a winner of this match from the end of the night. But otherwise, we will be very much left on suspense with a 1-1 margin going into that third match, which will be played at some later time in the future.
Okay, that is rather interesting. I've never really seen it done like that, because usually people go straight into the third match after. But I mean, hey, this is going to be interesting. I'm interested to see how it goes, because we could be leaving y'all on a cliffhanger. Who knows? I mean, imagine it's just like some really close, like single point diff at the very end, and we just have to leave off on a 1-1. It would be really interesting. All right, so now we are switching over to the POVs of the players, and it looks like we are on Cat's POV from the AAA Wolverines. So we should be seeing it start soon once they get ready to begin. Yep. Also, who's the host for this match? Mhm. Yep. So we do have FIU starting off with this first place spot that is always very valuable here. So, they're in a prime position to get a really good runner here, which, if they pick something they're super dominant on, they could run away with it. So we'll see how they take advantage of their potential track pick here. And they are going with Madrid Drive. And it looks like oh, no. That's Michigan going with Madrid Drive. It looks like FIU is going with Hyrule Circuit. And here we go around the roulette. We'll see what we get here. It looks like we are going to Madrid Drive for the first track of this best of 3. This is actually pretty solid for Michigan. Madrid's a pretty solid drafter here at the start and has a pretty decent shroom shortcut that you can use. So, we'll see how well they can take advantage of it here. And University of Michigan looks like they have an inside drift player here. So FIU, if they take note of this, they could take advantage with some of their track picks. Yep, and we see lots of University of Michigan start to take over as one of them gets trailed out by Botan here. And Botan is actually holding on to first pretty well. And it looks like there's one of the University of Michigan players right here catching up with a Shroom in hand, which is a solid position. Just got to be careful of Botan's banana trail here. Cat opting to go for the coins here, which is a pretty smart play, but ends up getting trailed by Botan after the turn. Yep, and now Cat has fire here in 6th place here. Just make sure you're not hitting Momit up there and the Birdo that's shooting up, because you gotta be careful of Star's Rang here as well. So letting that timer run out on the fire is probably the best move, and ends up getting ranged out as soon as the triple greens appear, which is really unfortunate. Getting a solid green off there as Cat goes into the shortcut here. Again, gotta be careful of the Rang that's behind them. And, ooh. Yep. We also have a plant in pocket here, which is kind of unfortunate considering there's a teammate right in front of you, but luckily the other player is taking the shortcut up there, so we'll be seeing Cat with a red and a plant in 8th place here. So, yeah, choosing to back the red just to make sure you're not team killing. Yeah, popping out that plant instantly just because there are FIU players right behind them. Yeah, option to stay in tight. You gotta be careful not to plant your teammate, just barely dodging it. Yep. Yep. Barely getting the double in time. You gotta pop that star very soon, because you're at the end of the race. Yep. And I'm gonna have the triple shrooms out. Gotta try to salvage as many spots as they can here. But I think that's a lot of FIU in the bottom here. That might be a bottom 3 for FIU. This is yeah. Wow. Top 4, 6-9. That is an insanely good first race for Michigan there. Yeah, super powerful pick. They were able to take advantage of the track pick that they got there and just really just dominate on it. They were able to draft up, take the Shroom shortcut, and just really just push in front of FIU there. And looks like we're skipping ahead in time here, going over to Evan Miko here, and we're going with Mario Circuit 3, which was FIU's pick, which honestly is one of the better tracks they could have picked here because they have a ton of bottom spots and they need something that they can kind of come back on. So, yep, and we'll see lots of people here at the start getting ready to bag just because auto acceleration might have been on there, yeah. But yeah, opting the bag here, which is pretty ideal for Mario Circuit 3, just because shock can occur and you can catch up pretty easily as well. So, yeah, but yeah. Yeah, ended up finding that random hole in the wall there was kind of unfortunate for them. But it looks like we're gonna see a bill already. Bills are in play, so people can pull shock, but I don't think we'll see it just yet. Opting to pop that bill right now just to get ready to chain into that next item set here. We're seeing a player just get backed by a green there, popping that star and not opting to stop at the set. Yeah, I got to start making a comeback here because if we look on them, shock is in hand in ninth. Got to be careful. I don't think there are any players nearby to see them in hand. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, yep, popping the shock now and goldening up here. Gotta salvage as many spots as you can. We see some FIU people invading the tops on the mini map, and we have bottom two from Michigan. So we'll see what even Evan can do to try to make up some spots here. Because Golden kind of works on this. He's got to start using that now. Yep. Unfortunately, bumping the wall, but we'll see what he can get. There's one more item set coming up here. A bill is great for what he needs here and he's popping it right now. We see lots of FIU up here. This is good. Yep. This is looking to be a pretty solid race for them. That shock was very good. And it looks like we have a top 3, 6, 7, 10 for FIU. Really, really solid race. Bringing themselves back in the game. And yeah, that was really good for them. Them pulling shock. Luckily, they were able to hold it for like a little bit without worry of Michigan knowing that they have it just because of how separated they were from the rest of the Michigan players. So they had no idea that the shock was going to happen and they could just dodge and catch up. And it looks like they're going to go with Daisy Cruiser to capitalize on their top spots. hmm And it looks like Michigan is going with Daisy Circuit, which is a pretty solid shroom up track just because there is a shortcut right at the start that is blocked by a little boarded up piranha plant, and you can shroom up through there and get a ton of spots and double boxes pretty easily and get to avoid a lot of the chaos with the glider. But it looks like we are going to be going to Daisy Cruiser, which is FIU's pick for a runner. This is a very high skill track. So assuming FIU knows what they're doing here, I mean they pick the track, we'll see how well they can maintain these spots. One thing that can be pretty trivial on this track, though, is the table section, which, is about halfway through. You see all the tables sliding through that can ruin races for people. So, we're just going to hope these people can navigate the table section pretty well because that is probably the most important part of the track. Now we see Evan here going all the way down to last here. He's going to need some coins here. Unfortunately, all of them are getting taken. There's the tables moving. Got to dodge him. One of the players getting smart bounced by a green there. And it looks like he's, opting for the coins there is a pretty smart move. And he's going to go into the item set here, pulling a little bit of item lag, I think. Oh, yeah, it's a little bit more than a little bit of item lag, but I think yep. Looks like Evan DC's here, but we have other POVs to switch to, unless that might have been a room crash. I'm not too sure. Room crash? All right. Yeah, saving clip just to, you know, make sure it's good, but yeah. Unfortunate room crash. We'll be seeing some room reopening soon. Hopefully, we don't have too many connection issues throughout the match. So while we wait here, we can just, I don't know, kind of see what could. Do you know the status on the room reopen? Yeah. So they haven't heard me the whole time. Oh, they've been hearing me, not you. Okay, well, interesting. I am carrying the call, y'all. All right. Looks like Evan's getting ready to put in the room code. Gotta make sure. I don't think anybody else random would join this. Oh, yeah, there's delay. Never mind.
Hello.
Yes.
We are learning why.
Ted better DM me.
So we are learning why you don't stream host while also casting. Super MK, you are correct. These scores were initially swapped for the first two races. That now has been fixed, as you can see from the top. Very sorry about that. I've been having a lot of fun with OBS today, as you guys could probably imagine.
All right. So we are now hopping back in the room here. So we will see how well the connection stays up. Oh, it's having some more connection issues from Zeronic here. Hoping it isn't too bad.
Yeah, we will see. I'm seeing also as well, not on screen as you can probably imagine, but Evan is restarting his game. I am looking to see if we have an update from the players. Oh yeah, so Florida International University will be switching hosts. So Evan is going to be host now. He will be in one when we get back into the room. I will imagine, just based on the fact that they're going to be reopening with hosting spots, they're probably going to pick Daisy Cruiser again. I wouldn't see much of a reason not to, personally.
Yep. Yeah, might as well go ahead and get that runner pick once again.
Yeah, it is a little bit, because I've only had the best of 3 experience once. I'll go over to Kat to not show the whole screen room code. I've only ever had the best of 3 experience once, and even then, it was one where we didn't get very many track picks in 1 and 2 anyway. What's kind of your thought on the whole, like, saving track picks for a game 2 or game 3 versus just kind of playing your picks when you have the spots for them?
Okay, I think it's interesting. So I know one thing that a lot of people like to do is they pick the other team's tracks in round 1 so they can't use them in round 2. That's how I would utilize it. I don't know, just because I don't know, it's weird. It's really weird, but I mean it makes sense if you have limited track picks. I don't know. I guess it kind of just depends on how the match is going, you know.
Right.
If the match is going in your favor, in that case, you know, maybe you can start dabbling in a bit of or if the match is like hard swayed in your favor or not in your favor, then you start like wasting the other team's track picks so they can't use them later.
Yeah, because I
But if
remember...
it's neck and neck and you need to save the score, then you use your track picks.
Because I do remember, like, somewhat famously in a D1 finals, I remember Sainsbury's, or D1 of MK Universal's, Sainsbury's, I believe, started picking some of Bree's best tracks in match 1 after, like, race 4. I almost feel like there's a bit of a middle ground that isn't really explored, of kind of, like, throwaway picks of just sort of tracks that you know nobody's really good at. Of, like, stuff like Choco Mountains, Sky Garden, like, really uncommon tracks you don't see come up much. Even
Yeah.
like a Thwomp Ruins, even maybe. I'm just sort of struggling to think of tracks that I've never played in Wars in a while.
Yeah. I feel like every team has, I guess, like their niche tracks like that.
Yeah,
So.
I think right now every track we've played so far with our sample size of 2 of MC3 and Madrid Drive, I think I at least played both of these tracks against both of these teams. I know at least Michigan picked Madrid, and I'm pretty sure Florida did as well. And I know for a fact Florida picked Mario Circuit 3. Anyway,
Yeah,
yes.
they're just really common tracks.
Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the CKL podcast, by the way, while we wait to get back in. Excuse me, sorry. I am also going to go ahead and take this moment to remind you guys about the Around the Superhorn submissions. We have submission threads open for both clips and tier lists. The clip one is pretty self explanatory. If you have a clip of anything that happened to you in any collegiate Mario Kart setting, preferably in a CKL match, we have a thread in the media channel of the CKL server. Title is pretty self explanatory, just post it in there, and this clip might get edited down and featured in a stream in the future. For tier lists, primarily looking for tier lists that are any criteria but your favorite track. No wrong answers only, essentially. Uh, don't want to spoil any of the submissions we have so far, but there have been some very fun ones. If you just got something that you think is kind of funny, if you want to make up a good reason to put a weird track in S tier, go for it. Put a list in there. That would be great. Because bits like that can't really happen without you guys submitting things. So please be sure to do that.
Yep, lots of cool stuff coming up. And wait, did you call it Around the Superhorn?
Around the Superhorn, I believe we are rebranding it to Around the Inside Lane,
Yes.
but it is the same show
Around
as
the Inside Lane.
It contains the
Yeah.
same spirit of the show known as Around the Superhorn from Fall.
Yep. All right, now it looks like we're on one person to hop in the room, and we should be chilling. So we'll see. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if both teams went with the track picks that they picked right before the DC, just because I feel like they're both in pretty solid spots for it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Also, I guess, another plug while we're here. CKL staff applications are open. We are looking for general staff as well as, I believe, stream hosts and graphic artists. If you are any of those things or would like to become any of those things, there is a form linked in the announcements channel. You can fill it out there, and we would love to bring more people on. I'm also,
Yep.
yeah. I'm glancing in chat as well while we wait to get started. From Zeronic, can we get a prediction of whether or not Mary Mountain gets picked instead of who will win? Within Twitch, I cannot run more than one prediction at a time, and as such, I physically can't because I believe in the Twitch rules. If I were to decide the outcome of this match before it ended, that would get the channel banned. So legally, I cannot. I am very sorry.
One thing I also am interested to see between these teams going into this like best of 3 is what tracks they'll start picking going into game 2. You know, I mean, like, I want to know what tracks these guys are like, you know, really can pull out of their back pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because game two is where that's where you have the most probably interesting position, I would say, of every game, because somebody is in the advantage state. Game three is just you're not holding anything back. You just have to use everything you have left to
Yep.
get a win in. Uh, Game one is pretty even. I feel like it's probably best to just kind of always pick your things, because you never know when you're gonna have your track picks. Also, shout out to we have really fun Mii's in this lobby. The chain jump Mii is awesome. I have never seen that before. The Dr.
Oh, for
Robotnik
sure.
Mii is great. I think we are getting started. Yeah, there's
Oh, let's go. We are finally
the
back
UI
in
is
to win it,
gone.
y'all. Yep. Here we go. FIU is starting in the top spots, which we know they had right after MC3. So we'll probably see them go back to Daisy Cruiser here. Unless they're picking Tokyo. Oh, we switch over to UM's POV. Yeah, so UM is actually picking Tokyo Blur, kind of switching it up there, which is a pretty solid drafter track. And I'm interested to see if FIU decides to pick Daisy Cruiser again. Yep, they are going Daisy Cruiser again. I would not see a reason to pick anything else. And
Yeah,
yeah,
Tokyo
we'll
Blur is
see what gets picked
definitely
here.
another one of those big signature tracks from Michigan as well. I know they picked it against us when we played them. I
Hmm.
know, especially for MK Scholars, it was like the defining track for the team. It was their banner track when they won Division 21 of MKU back in fall.
Yep. And we know a good bit of those Michigan players are on that team. So, I mean, they do have a lot of good experience with that track. And we are going back to Daisy Cruiser for FIU. So, we're kind of right where we left off here.
Yeah,
And
very,
that is
very
a
similar
lot of
picture.
tops.
Took a long time to get
Yep.
back to where we were before, but we are back on Daisy Cruiser.
Hmm. All right, and now we have a ton of tops starting with FIU here. And this is I feel like this is more tops than they had last time. So they have to push a lot more than they had to before. But we see Zeronic. I mean, hey,
They've kind of
he's
done it,
driving
no?
straight into first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a Sherman won too. Especially if you can get
Yeah.
anyone else from Michigan and up there with you, you're all of a sudden perfect with a Schumann first. That is the absolute best thing you could have happen to you on a runner.
Yep, chilling in first with a shroom. He is, yeah, getting some good MT tricks there. And we'll see him snaking along this path here. And as long as nothing too bad from FIU comes his way, should be chilling. Opting to go for the coins here is a really smart play, especially because he is playing Biddy, which has a lot more mini turbo than Teddy Buggy, which comes with the cost of less top speed. I mean, getting these coins is very important. So he is starting to make a break now that he has the coins, and no one's just making an effort to hit him out because he has that Schumann first. And yeah, going into lap 3 here, watching out for the bananas, he is starting to make a much bigger break for himself.
Yeah, no, I think you do start to the question of it. It's not as relevant anymore now that Michigan's in two, but I think when FIU was in two, you did probably have to ask that question of if you should burn the shroom because you're leaving yourself defenseless to even just any reds. Like, yes, you might have to dodge a blue, but there's not much time left for blue to happen. I think it's not. It panned out here, obviously. Like, that shroom has been burned. They've got defense. Like we're seeing literally exactly what I was talking about. Blue is out, but it's just going to hit them after the line, and they're fine.
Yep, and there it is, a flawless run from Zeronic here, just running away with it, and I think that is a top 3, maybe top 4 from here.
Looks like they do have
See the
last, but
spots,
other than
and
that,
we
yeah,
are top
top four
4.
and yeah, top 4, 10, 12.
It's a
Very
really
solid race
solid
for
game
Michigan,
there,
yeah.
yeah.
It's going to be a plus 18 for Michigan there.
Yeah, that is a very solid performance there from them. I mean, Michigan, they were not in the spots at all for Cruiser, and they just kind of drove into first and ran away with it. I mean, first place, they just didn't have items past that first item set because they just get coins. And, just Zeronic took advantage of it.
Yeah, no, that is part of the risk you take picking cruisers. That like there is a lot of time for there's definitely a lot of time for things to kind of change in the first like 30 seconds and to lose those tops. And then once you lose those tops, you just can't get them back. And it's kind of what we saw happen.
Yeah, the lack of shortcuts just makes having those tops so much more important. And now we see the track picks your Royal Raceway and SNES Rainbow Road. And we are going to SNES Rainbow Road from Michigan here as their runner of choice. And it looks like Michigan did have a DC on Cruiser, which was quite unfortunate. However, their top 4 was able to carry them through. And yeah, SNES Rainbow Road is an interesting track to pick. You don't really see it too often. I know the team I play for, not my CKL team, they really like this track. So seeing other teams pick it is also really nice to see. And now we see Zeronic just chilling in first here still. No one able to take over him at the top. And we see, Evan barely making that little jump there, tossing the greens up. Unfortunately, hitting one of his Rosalina teammates here. Yeah, backing, getting rid of the greens just to make sure he doesn't kill his teammates on accident. Shooming just before the Thwomp slams down. Zeronic, I'm assuming Zeronic is still in first place here. But the thing is, we have lots of FIU behind him. So we'll see how well he can hold on to that first place position.
Yeah, Michigan has one, but FAU has almost everything after. I think that's 2, 3, 4, and 6. Florida's very much in a good spot right now, especially if they can hit out Ryan, then turn into almost everything after one. They will be able to get first eventually, just with enough items.
Yep. And now Zoronic is making even more of a break here. Oh, and there's the shock. That was I wouldn't be surprised if that was a shock there, because Zoronic got shocked right before the item set, and now there is a significant break. Well, not a super significant one, but a pretty significant break for Zoronic here. But also has bottom two there. So yeah, we'll see what the rest of the pack can do to catch up. But yeah. Ooh, one of the young players getting hit by the thwomp there. Evan just trying to get AJ out with the fire there. Ooh, and unfortunately goes the same path as the thwomp, unable to dodge it. And it looks like that is going to be a solid first place from there.
Yeah, FIU had a
And
lot of
let's see what
spots
the
after
rest of the
though.
spots are.
Yeah, 1,
Yeah,
5,
FIU got everything behind
1,
Zoronic.
5, and then 8 through 11. I don't think it's going to be that good, actually. That might even be a gain for Florida. Yeah, no, Florida gained, I think, 8 points there, actually, yeah. And this does put Michigan in a bit of a weird spot of being in a pretty heavy 1-0 positions. Like, they've got first, they've got 5, and then they have so much of the bottom 4, or of the bottom 6.
Yep. FIU has everything behind here. So we'll see what they can do to kind of just break in to that. Who was just carrying away with that first place there. Wait, sorry. Oh my gosh, I just got mixed up in my words. Yeah, sorry, I was reading something. Anyways, we have FIU. They have everything behind first place here. And it looks like they are going with Athens Dash, which is a pretty solid track. And
this race is going to be a 5v6, though. I think it looks like FIU is missing one of their players.
Yeah, I thought someone just didn't vote, but yeah, it looks like it is going to be a 5v6. So FIU, I mean, it is kind of
especially on
that
airport
they're the
too.
ones with the five. Yeah, they're not getting their track pick, and they're down a teammate and down in points. I mean, they're really gonna have to push for this. But hey, luckily, a lot of the top spots is FIU. So
and yeah, we've seen 2 hard runners and the team not in the running spot been the one to win both times on these tracks so far. So I don't think there's any reason it can't happen a third time.
All right, so we see Evan right here in the top. Oh, unfortunately getting slammed into the wall and triple nanted here. It's quite unfortunate. So we have, yeah, he's chilling right here with a Shroom, looking to go for the item set here, which is not that bad of a play because he was already sent to the back pretty early on, so he can be the person for FIU to be back there for shock. And we see the King Boo bot back here with him as well, unfortunately driving off the track there, so he is kind of sent pretty far back there to go for shock. So we'll see if he can potentially pull it, because having players up in the top is something that you do have to be conscious about. You're going to need a shock or a blue so your players can take over those top spots. We're going over to Zoronic POV here, who is in second place, by the way. So we'll see how well can hold the top spots, because that is a solid top 3 for them. And FIU is right behind them. So we'll see if Michigan
blue is out, though.
And there is the blue. Yep.
It's hitting in a pretty lethal spot,
Ryan has
too.
Anything. Yeah.
This is honestly one of the worst spots to get blued. I think that's a horn, though?
It's a bomb.
Oh, it was a bomb.
Yep. Zoronic, though, does have double protection in first here, but I think with the amount of that was in the top, I don't think Ryan was able to, really get super punished after that blue explosion.
Yeah, and look at the minimap, too. I think I see the Rosalina from FIU as well as the blue Yoshi, so they've got 2 people up there, but still, I don't know if that's enough with how far back the rest of the team is. And there's at least 3 FIU in the bottom 4. There's a second blue, though. It is going to hit Zoronic. Blue. I just don't think blue is what you need.
No.
Yeah, you have to stop. Yeah. You have to stop.
Yeah, getting blued in the glider would
that killed Ryan, I think.
I think
that killed Ryan.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
That's so bad for Michigan.
Luckily Zoronic has but not the triple protect. Oh no!
Broke on the getting
90 by the bog.
There's a Lakitu zone there.
That's crazy. Oh, that is really unfortunate for Zoronic there. I mean, luckily Cat got first, Ryan got third. But yeah, that's a crazy Lakitu zone inside the
It is
luggage
still
area.
following that. Yeah, that is still a 2 point gain for Michigan. So it was still a good race. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
just I feel like maybe not
can
as
say it
good as
would
you'd
have been
want.
better if the Lakitu zone. Yeah. If the whole luggage fiasco happened, um, it would have been a little bit better. But sometimes there's not a whole lot you can do because yeah, I did not think that was going to happen. But it does look like is going to be picking DK Jungle for their spots. And for a drafter from FIU, they're going with Royal Raceway. And they got their 6th player back in, which is very nice. And it looks like we are going to be going to DK Jungle, which is UM's track of choice for their 1-3 position.
Picking DK Jungle with an inside drift players in your first and third is kind of crazy, I feel like, because neither of them can take super bounce. Like, you just, especially if FIU can hit it for 2 and 4, you do just immediately forfeit your top 2. I don't.
That is true. I have seen lots of teams in the past with inside drifters in lineup that do pick this track anyway, just because I think they're pretty solid at it. But yeah, Zeronic unfortunately getting triple landed out at the very start, and chucking that red up, try to gain a spot right there. Lots of line failage from FIU at the start, but yeah, Zeronic is just chilling in 7th place right now with quad shrooms, which is pretty solid. Yeah, we see also has first there, but they do have that back presence. So if blue gets pulled, they can hold on to it there, which would be really good for them. And Zeronic opting to not chain here, which could be pretty good here. And we're switching over to Evan's POV. Has a horn in 3rd, unfortunately having to burn it on the red shell here, but Evan, he's got to find a way to break into top 2 here because yeah, you can't let run away with it with the point lead that they have going on at the moment.
Is able to break in a second, doing a little bit of damage at least to the top 2, and got a shroom here, so you can make something happen. Yep. Pulling a coin though, that's now having to worry about the Australia. Yeah, I don't know what you can do, especially with just a single coin.
Yeah, right now I think it's just kind of pray that you don't get backed here. Ryan opting to throw forwards, and unfortunately Evan didn't chain here, which is kind of unfortunate. And chucking the red up. We see Zeronic catching up, who has triple shrooms in 2nd, which is insane.
That red would have been so useful just a few seconds later, especially with triple shrooms in front of you.
Yep. And now we see, having a green in 3rd. We're gonna see,
going off the edge
up,
too,
but
a little bit
connecting
too early
with anyone. Yeah, luckily Evan has an FIU player behind him, so he's not too dead here. Yeah, chucking the greens up just to try to kind of make as much of a dent as you can. I think Ryan just had to horn Zeronic off of the map to defend the red, which is insane. Yeah, not a whole lot of spacing, which is what
someone's gonna lose there no matter what. I think. Oh, but shock though, right at the end.
The bomb!
Can you still make it?
Killed some UM people.
I don't. I think Ryan is gonna keep first here. Evan is gonna get 2nd. We'll see what happens otherwise. I don't know if that was an FIU shock or not.
Yeah,
that's a pretty that's a really good race for Michigan.
1 and 3 through 5 for Michigan. That is and they have top 3 in indivs there. That is a really solid position for
I believe that was 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 11 for Michigan there, but so having 5 of top 7 is crazy. Really, really good race for Michigan there. I will admit I was fully wrong to doubt picking. I was fully wrong to doubt that pick. It worked out very well for Michigan, as we've seen just now.
Yep. And now FIU, they're not in the greatest position after that race, so they got to pick another one of their comeback tracks. So we'll see what they can do here. The timer is ticking. And I think they're going to Yoshi Circuit. Oh, no, we're changing over. Last second to DP3. Some of them went Yoshi Circuit. We see an odd mix of tracks here, but I think all of them
Royal Raceways too,
get the job done.
A lot of tracks.
Yeah. You see some Paris here as well, which I know you're a fan of. So
Very
for
much, yeah.
UM's runner of choice, which kind of works for them because it is a very inward friendly track. And we got Ryan in first here, so yeah, and we got Paris too.
Yeah, that
So
was Ryan
he
and Cat
is
and
going to be
Tops,
able.
so very good
Yep.
spots
So
for Paris. Very smart pick.
yep, Ryan. Yeah, Ryan can take advantage of being an inside drifter on Paris. So we'll see how well he can. Oh, and I think that's Cat in third. So yeah, two inside drifters and top three, which is super good for getting Paris. And we'll see what Evan can do because he is kind of surrounded here at the top, opting to go a right path. Shout out to Dynamo. And yeah, we'll see. Yeah, there is a ton of yellow up here at the top. And chucking that green up and getting a kill off the one person with a red. Unfortunate line fell into that one opening on the sidewalk. And yeah, instantly sent down the 10th, which, you're kind of forced to be the one going for shock now because everyone is now passing you.
Yeah, going item path lap 1, I feel like is kind of a commitment you have to make for the rest of the race. Because you just, I mean, I say that Evan is back up into 6th. Getting green, though, I think now he has to be bagging for the rest of this race. I don't know what else he can really do right now.
Yep. And now we see Evan cutting up here, and we see some people stopping at set. There's a boomerang back there from Michigan. But, yeah, we see Evan chilling still. And they have a top 2 here, but that is barely dodging that bomb. Yeah, popping the star. Unfortunately, okay.
Don't think that was a team kill, but I think it did still force their teammates. They're getting shocked, though.
Ooh. Shock is now in hand, but if AJ is pressing X, they do know about the shock, and I wouldn't be surprised if
top 2 might be able to hit glider as well. Yeah. Top 2 could hit the glider and maybe mitigate the damage a little bit. I think they're gonna shock blue though. It looks like blue is out. Yep, there's the shock.
Popping that shock.
And now the blue's coming in right after.
Yep, first place kind of getting screwed over by that shock there. And,
top 2 did still have a lot of space though.
Evan is pulling the build. Build is pretty solid here.
You are now forced to go in this long path, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that it did do a lot of damage to the tops, but there was such a big break that I think you're still holding on to it. It's a Michigan top 4 still. I think it is top 4, bottom 2 at the very least for FIU, so there's a little bit of consolation there, but like, still top 4 is so scary.
Ooh, a little bit of line fail from Evan there. Chucking greens up unfortunately hits one of his teammates, trying to get a hit on Ryan, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. And that's going to conclude in 9th for Evan here and a top 2-5 for Michigan. So it looks like some of the FIU players were able to break into those top spots.
Yeah, no, that top 4 did definitely get cracked a little bit, but not nearly as much as I think it would have, or as it definitely could have. So it's still very interesting. I mean, it is also, we're now, we've just passed race 7, right? And Michigan is up by 48 points. You're kind of starting to approach the point where you can maybe kind of like throw a pick away. Like if I'm Michigan, I'm a little bit worried about using all of my firepower game 1 because like there is only one Paris, like there's only one Paris, there's only one Madrid. If you burn so many inside favored tracks now, you're not left with much. And Water Park too, another really great runner, especially for inside drift, but just having another track that would be so good for you, you maybe want to pick a runner that's a little more neutral.
Yeah. Just so you can save those when it could potentially matter a bit more in game 2. If FIU, like let's say it's really tight game 2, I mean, or even later in this match even, because we're only going into the 6th race, that's kind of when you'd want to save it. Because now is when you would want to be burning track picks when you have a bit of a lead.
Michigan is helped a little bit by not getting that Water Park pick, so they do have it for a little bit longer, especially if they can get a good race here.
Yep, and now we're here on Toad Harbor, so yeah, I don't think this is a track you see too often, so it is interesting seeing this track pick. And we see Evan here just chilling in these bottom spots with a shroom. Got to be careful of that red that was in front of him, but going top path allows some separation here. So we see Evan, yeah, he's still chilling with these shrooms, which, yeah, he's trying to, navigate through the pack to avoid any potential items coming his way. And
a lot of Michigan
lots of stuff going on right now.
I think FAU's got
barely
one,
dodging the tram there.
After.
Yep. And now we see him holding on to this shroom, which he can use in this grass cut up here. And FIU also has another first place spot here, which is pretty solid.
FIU has almost all the bottom four right now. I think Michigan might be 9th, but yeah, there's the blue now. Yeah, as soon as Michigan got to 1, you see blues coming out. This is happening a lot to Michigan, where they're getting such strong runs, but then they don't have anyone in the back, and then they immediately get punched for it. Nice screen there by Evan as well.
Yep. Very good green. And it looks like we have FIU chilling in first place here once again after that blue comes. And they have 1-3 right here. Yeah, Evan using that shroom to recover from the missed MT, but unfortunately has to pay the price of that horrible blooper traction.
And missing doubles there as well.
And yeah.
Not great. Does look like, yeah, it's a 1-4 now.
Here.
Gonna opt to just seed third and Momit get a box. Turning into 7th suddenly with triple shrooms 0 and 4th. Really good pull. Triple reds coming out a little bit fast.
Yep.
Weren't put as
lots
good
of reds coming out for the UM players. So
the triple shrooms got ghosted.
You can get a lot. Yeah, triple nanas are coming out, which isn't fantastic when you're surrounded by your teammates because there's got to be a good bit of spacing. But he's looks like he is gonna be trapping this this right path here, barely dodging that fire.
That
he's
is
chucking
crazy.
The nanas up.
How none of that fire hit. Yeah, it's looking like lap 3 now. Michigan's gotta either pull a shock or make something happen soon. Nice nana snipe there. I'm not sure who
snags
that was.
That double.
Yeah.
Ends up chucking the items. Oh, that green that he tossed up ended up hitting a teammate was really unfortunate. Lots of stars coming up at the end, and he gets back by, I think, his teammate.
All the way to 12th. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, I mean, hey, in good news for FIU, UM got 9 through 11, so they do have a decent bit of the bottom spots now, and FIU can now pick one of their runners.
No, right. It was a good race for FIU, but they only gained by 6. With Michigan being in so many bottom spots all race, Michigan was still able to kind of break into the tops a little bit at the end. And that back also did a lot as well. Turning the bottom 3 into a 9, 10, 11 does save, I want to say about that alone saved 6 points for Michigan. The 2, 4, 5 helped a lot. And Michigan is still up a full 40 points. It's only 42, but that is still, if they can keep that for 3 more races, they have a guaranteed win in this first game, and they can try to burn a track pick.
Oh, I just realized I said it was like only race 6 earlier, but I completely forgot that we played Madrid and MC3 earlier. That completely slipped my mind. So that was more like, what, race 8 there?
This is, yeah, we are moving on to race 9 right now.
Yes, the last GP.
We're in the final GP of game 1, right?
Yep. And this is where it matters. This is where you kind of right now. This match, I will say, is leaning a little bit more towards Michigan's like favor. Which, I mean, hey, they're only up by 40 something, so FIU can still totally make a comeback if they get some really good races here. But yeah, right now it's kind of interesting to see what track picks they'll be going with here because game 2 is right around the corner.
Yeah, because Athens is definitely an anti-1 track, but it is also just as much a shroomer, and Michigan does have a lot of shroom spots. It's pretty nice for inside as well, so their inside drift players get to benefit a bit.
Yep. We're cutting over to Zeronic's POV, holding a shroom in second here and cutting up here. And now we have a UM player in first place here, which is super solid. And that looks like a lot of FIU in the bottom. Yeah, lots of FIU in like
as well
the bottom to mid pack really early on. So now this is just like how well can UM hold on to these tops that they got really fast because they are now taking very good advantage of the track pick they got.
Yeah, because just as much as like this, there's just a lot of really good shroom up opportunities. We did just pass the second one. The last one won't be there for a little bit till the very end of the race. But at this point now, it's Zeronic's job to just get as big of a rig as possible. There is one coming up at
the start of lap 3 as well.
There's so many spots. The biggest ones have passed. I think those first 2 are the biggest, but there is still a very good shroom spot. I think Zeronic does have enough space that they can weather however much ground Botan's going to gain on them here. But they are still going to hold first. They got a bit of a gap just looking at the minimap. But it is definitely shrunk a little. Getting a really nice double defense pull as well in first. Very nice to see. That is really solid.
Ooh, unfortunate blooper coming in. And one of the defenses getting ghosted is quite unfortunate. Oh, and the blue's out. But luckily, Zeronic has a bit of a lead here.
Look, it should, I think Zeronic should keep first here too, especially with it hitting on the blues.
Ooh, FIU is catching up though. Just gotta be pressing X here on this straightaway just to make sure nothing happens. Switching over to Evan's POV here. Just gotta hope Evan doesn't die here at the end. Gotta be careful of his teammates' triple reds. And it looks like there was a bomb there as well. Lots of chaos at the very end of Athens here. Shock as well. Looks like that was a UM player. I think that gained a few spots at the end in that star. But it looks like that is a 1-3-5 for UM.
Yeah, I think you haven't got these exact same spots as well a couple races ago. It should be another slight gain for them. Yeah, that's another +2 gain for Michigan there. So they are now up 44 with 3 races to go. God, ending of that race was crazy. Triple reds, stars. There was a Goomba flying at 1.2 even. Then it all ended, and it just all ends with a shock right as well at the line. And that one FIU player in a star did, yeah, as you said, definitely made up some spots. That looked like such a strong race for Michigan. They did still win, but only by 2.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see what happens here because right now, it's nearing the end of match 1. I mean, because the closer we get to the end here means the winner is decided more and more and more. And that's when you also have to think a lot more about your track picks. And it looks like UM is picking Water Park. So, I mean, if I were them, I mean, I don't know if that's really the greatest decision because you're nearing the end of match 1. And again, you're just going to want to pick some neutral runners, but it looks like we are going to Moo Moo Meadows from FIU, which is a pretty solid shroom up track here at the start.
Mm-hmm. And Michigan does have shroom spots too. They've got 9th through 11th. 5th place could even pull a shroom. 3rd shrooms can happen as well. The only person who definitely won't be pulling is 1st. There's also very much a really good drafting opportunity here at the start, depending on how much people are snaking. And there's so few boxes as well, so I feel like the shock luck has definitely trended in FIU's favor. So I'm almost not sure if FIU maybe wants this, if they're the ones kind of pulling more shocks. Like they've got the hot hands for it. If you go to a track with a third as many boxes, you're not going to pull.
Yep. And it looks like we have Evan in 4th here, getting a double box and has a green and a shroom here, which honestly, yeah, he's opting the trail here just because he knows there is Michigan players behind him. Chucking that green up, though, got to be careful that he doesn't get hit by it. And now he has a shroom in the mid pack, opting to shroom up here and get out of the mess of players. And triple greens get pulled on him, unfortunately, and gets bumped instantly to last there, which is... Yeah, really unfortunate, but luckily he does have that shroom to recover a little bit, making sure to grab those coins. Very important. Again, I said it earlier on Cruiser, but when you're on a vehicle like Scooty or Biddy, you need coins. And there is a blue shell from FIU. Very, very lucrative blue because UM is in 1st here, and there's an FIU player right behind that 1st place spot. So assuming they have nothing to dodge it, FIU is going to be in a great position here.
Yeah, that blue throw happening does probably means there's going to be no shock because there's only one more double set for the rest of this race. And I'm pretty sure Evan's the only person who can pull, so if shock happens, it's going to happen right here. Otherwise, this will probably be a very strong race for Michigan.
Yeah, Evan unfortunately clipping a little bit of the grass at the end of that shortcut, getting a golden mushroom, but I don't think that'll get him any spots here at the end. We see Zeronic getting ranked at the very end, but luckily it was only teammates that passed her, so... honestly, that rank wasn't that bad, but that blue that happened from Evan did net FIU a 1st place there. But yeah, again, Michigan just got everything behind 1st.
Yeah, no, Michigan is now up. They're up 58 with 2 races left. Honestly, given that they have 2 inside drift players on their team, I would be shocked if they didn't try to burn Gorge right now. Like, yes, 80 points, you need 80 for a guaranteed win, but getting 60 points in 2 races is kind of crazy. Looks like they might opt to burn Neo Bowser City, which I think is also a pretty good decision. It's not like the strongest anti-inside track in the world. There was one Gorge pick. Yeah, but... Okay.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's, I don't know, it's a runner, so, and I don't know. They can kind of take over pretty easily at the start just because UM just outnumbers FIU at the start of this because FIU only has 1st here, so Neo does actually kind of work for them, but it's also anti-inward. I could not think of that for the life of me. It's also anti-inside drift.
They do get the
Neo
pick,
they do get it off the board. Yeah, so that actually isn't even that bad for them. It's a pretty solid track pick for them.
Because even if they get like a -20 here, that then requires FIU to get a top 6 to take the first game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is probably finding the good balance of a track you know you're pretty bad at, but maybe not terrible, to try to burn now when you've got a pretty safe gap at the end of this first game. It isn't decided yet.
And this, this first tunnel section right here we'll see lots of people shoom up here, and I think that's like 2 FIU players there at the start, and all these UM players here in the mid pack. So we'll see how well they can catch up here. Lots of red shells. Got to be careful. And it looks like Botan getting redded out, and we see FIU in first place here, and we see 2 UM players right behind them. And oh no, Zeronic unfortunately falling off the track. Not chaining the red is also kind of unfortunate, because you only get 1 power item from 9th place here, that being triple shrooms, which honestly isn't the greatest. But yeah, we'll see Zeronic shrooming up here. You know, trying to make up some spots from the fall off from earlier. Also got to be careful of Star's Horn. Yeah, opting slow down there I think was a pretty good move, and then shrooming up tight just to avoid any potential damage from the horn there. And now Zeronic is in 5th place here, kind of going wide, avoiding that bill there. And yeah, we see that is a first place from FIU, but Michigan is everything behind them.
That was a really good job avoiding that horn by Zeronic. You know, shrooming up at just the right time to put another Florida player between themselves and that horn. Just not having to worry about it at all. Did a very great job.
Yep. And we see Zeronic here going into the last lap here with a shroom and a rang. So if Zeronic wants to be pretty aggressive and shroom up and try to rang first out, but I honestly don't think Zeronic's in range to do that, just because Silver does have a tiny bit of a break, but also saving this shroom for the cut at the very end before the glider could be pretty lucrative.
Yeah, no, just dodging that back. Really nice job. With how many Michigan are up here, I think they're probably guaranteed to win off this. So if they can manage to that ring up, it's just going to miss.
Missing. Yeah. But that...
It looks like FIU in bottom 2. I think that will guarantee that this first game is going to go to Michigan.
Yep.
Oh, 2 through 5, 7, absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely a gain for Michigan there. So now, now that you're like both of these teams, that the winner has already been decided, you kind of need to pick tracks that like to get off the board, right? So if you're in UM's position, pick tracks that you think is that FIU will be picking next time. So you know, you don't have to worry about them in game 2 when you got to clutch up the 2-game win. And for FIU, you just got to pick tracks. Yeah, we see FIU picking Water Park there, which we know we saw UM picking earlier. So that is a really solid track pick from them, actually.
They've tried to pick it twice now, yeah. And then Michigan opting to try to burn DK Summit. I think probably if you're not going to burn Gorge, I think this is probably the next best track you could burn.
That or DK Mountain, yeah.
Oh, true, DK Mountain as well, yeah. And maybe FIU is just better at DK Mountain, and then this is just the correct pick. You know, like they've played these guys before in the regular season. Maybe like the Summit came up and it didn't go well.
Yep. And now we are going to DK Summit, which was UM's pick. So for UM, assuming that, you know, they are trying to get maps off the board, this is really solid for them. So we'll see how well they can do on this track, and then going into game 2.
Yeah, no, ultimately there isn't... The only thing you can really do during this race to kind of change the state of the game is just kind of get in the other team's head a little bit. Which even that is pretty hard to do. There aren't really many ways you can do that don't sort of affect the game. But, you know, getting another good race here, showing like even on one of our worst tracks we're trying to get rid of, we can still win, can definitely send a message to FIU, I think. It is still definitely in Michigan's best interest to get a good race here.
Oh, Zeronic, unfortunately, not getting the cut she needs, which is kind of unfortunate. But hey, it's DK Summit. I mean, if you know anything about DK Summit, this track is the casino. I mean, you know, there's lots of stuff that goes on this track, especially with this cannon set that we see Zeronic coming up to here. So, I mean, you know, unfailing that double really isn't the end of the world there. Not chaining that red either. It's pretty interesting, but Zeronic does pull a star, which can be pretty good because there is actually a pretty solid chance that Shock could be in play soon.
Yeah, no, and if shock is gonna happen, it's gonna happen around now to get people off cut. Zoronic's got a couple dodges here in the back.
Yeah, I
Gonna
don't
go.
think we will be seeing a shock though, but yeah, opting to go around just because, you know,
I think
the bomb is
that
right
was Botan
there.
holding a blue. I thought. Couldn't quite tell from the split second we
I
saw,
didn't
but
see
I
that.
thought I saw a blue shell.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense because we see an FIU player just cruising away with this, and Zoronic is holding a Bill in 11
No
here.
cannon set though.
So,
Then,
yeah, I
although
think we see
honestly, with
some, yeah,
a
we see some
bill in
people
seventh
stopping at
though,
set.
bill in seventh isn't bad at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, people were stopping at set, so
All right, blue's
maybe
out.
we see something happen. Maybe we see a potential shock. Who
That was
knows?
definitely a throw by an FIU
Ooh, popping the
player.
bill. We'll
Gonna
see
try
if
to
something
maybe miss
happens
with the
here.
shock cancel on the blue. Getting the extension as well, yeah, taking bullet extension all the way up to 4. It's still having triple shrooms 2 for afterwards. Gonna get past a little bit by the people take cut. Yeah, so it looks like that blue did hit right after the line. So it is still gonna be, I think, FIU top 2. Michigan picking up a 3rd and 4th, I want to say. And there's the shock, yeah, after almost everyone's
The
finished.
lap 4 dodge.
The lap 4
4
shock dodge, incredible.
And there you go. That is a win for the AAA Wolverines over at Michigan. So, very solid performance from them is very, very awesome. And yeah, we'll see what FIU can do on match 2 because right now FIU is in the hot seat. They're on the bubble, you could say. And they need to have a really good comeback game 2 so they can push this into a game 3.
Right, yeah. And now for Michigan, you can sort of sit back a little bit and relax. I think the main sort of interesting thing, I think, of the two kind of ways to approach this are either just kind of like look at this situation for what it is of you're up right now. You've got 24 races. You only have to win one match. So you could just spend all of game 2 just burning every track FIU plays. And just even though, like, yes, they might win, you leave them with nothing for game 3. And then you can pick up a pretty easy win there. But even then, that does still rely on, you have to assume that, like, you can actually burn through all those tracks, or just try to end it right now. Like, you know, they've got a few tracks left in the tank. They still have Water Park. I think they still have Tokyo even. You can just try to, like, take that and call the shot of, like, we have enough to just win it right now and end it. Let's do it.
Yep, because we know that UM they still have a lot of their power tracks. I mean, they still have Water Park. I mean, we haven't seen them play it yet. So, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was a lot of like UM's track picks there, right?
Yeah, it definitely felt like Michigan was getting a lot.
Yeah, so not gonna lie, we might see FIU at a bit of an advantage going into game 2 just because they have a lot of their track picks still.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely think it is still very much up in the air. Even though it was a pretty solid game 1 win. You know, that this was with burning a couple tracks for it was with burning a couple tracks on Michigan's end, but they still managed to have pretty solid races across the two. I don't think it's nearly as a I don't think there's as huge of an advantage as it could feel right now. I think it's kind of what I'm trying to get at.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, do we know what time the room will be opening and starting all that for the next match?
Very soon. I will
All
get
right.
you a time for exactly when in a couple seconds. But until then, we can go do our little talk back after game 1.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess just while we have this time, anything else you're kind of thinking about?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of it. There also just wasn't a whole lot of shocks. I can't lie. Throughout that. Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll see a little bit of strategy change maybe going into the next game because I don't know. It just felt like there wasn't a whole lot of shock pulling going on. So maybe some of the teams can or like FIU, maybe that's something that they can use to their advantage to net them a win. Who knows? I don't really know what their game plan is, but I mean, I'm interested to see what they can do. But yeah, there was not a whole lot of shocks there in that match from what I observed. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I will say though, I feel like track picks matter a really good bit in CKL and all of that because I mean, if you look at the first two races, we saw like whenever we see Michigan get Madrid at the start, easy like lots of top spots. We see MCT right after, we see lots of FIU tops. So it's like, yeah, I think trap picks will have to do a lot of with a lot of it. So I think, if FIU they get a little bit of that track luck magic on their side, they can push this to a game three. I totally think they're capable of doing that. Would not count them out just yet. Wait, were they not able to hear you the whole time?
Uh,
This guy.
there we go.
This
There we
guy.
go. And I've clicked the transition button and now it works. Anyways, we are going to have another channel point prediction open for game two. Um, Said a lot of people won very big on game one. Congratulations if you are one of those people. You have a chance to potentially double those points again uh, if you can predict correctly who will win between these two teams. Okay, so we want to see a minute or two getting set up. It is going to be it is now going to be Michigan hosting, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they will be opening the room in decently soon. I'm looking at their chat. I think they're going to be opening at the 10:15 mark. So with stream delay, we will be seeing that. On our end, it's about to happen. On yours, it is going to be in a couple more minutes.
Yep. And hopefully there isn't that many connection issues just because last time we had Michigan host, which was at the start of match 1, we did have that room crash. So hopefully it is not that bad and everything will go along smoothly. Cuz I'm just starting to think that that might have just been a one-time thing because it was only around then when we saw a few DCs, but everything was all good after. Yeah, I'm looking over at chat right now, and everyone is just now realizing the whole Mike fiasco.
See, and this is why. Well, curse of 2 minute ad break. Unfortunately, um, no, it's I. This is definitely something I could and should have caught and realized. Uh, but anyways, yeah, we will be getting started with game two very soon. Uh, yeah, I'm kind of clicking around, doing all the setup stuff that you normally don't hear because we usually have we have our dedicated stream host, but we're getting crazy tonight. We're getting wild. We're having the stream host
Hmm.
commentate, and we're learning why we usually don't have the stream host commentate.
You
Cause
learn
that
something
happens.
new every time you cast,
Yeah,
or every time we stream.
and I learned that I'm bad at remembering if my microphone is on, which is really fun.
It's
Let's get some
okay.
music on as well. Let me put the music up. We have a bit. There we go. The music is back. The scores are reset. I will say that as soon as I say this, I am clicking around and seeing it looks like the room might be getting opened up soon.
And this match has been, delayed a decent bit just because of that room crash from earlier that took a little bit, but I mean, it's all good. I mean, we're all in college, so we're used to staying up this thing.
Oh, for sure. And we've had later prime times this season. The 1 a.m.
The 1 a.m.
The 1 a.m.
Yeah, I
pride
think
time.
you and I were both there for it.
Yeah. You were casting it, I was running it. That was a time.
Yep.
And we had a room crash there as well, actually.
Oh, yeah. I will say I did have a fantastic sleep after that cast. That was fantastic.
I'm gonna get my predictions in. Okay. I think Michigan could take it. I'm gonna believe in them.
In for Michigan. You think they're gonna go with 2-0?
Yeah, I think it'll happen. And if I'm wrong, I will lose a lot of my Greg bucks. I will be very sad.
Down a lot on the Greg buckage. The Greg stocks.
And we can fade back up the music. It does look like our lobby
I
score.
mean, honestly, it really could go either way.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna be
I don't
real.
know. Honestly, I'm not sure if the play is even to spend any channel points on this, but
Yep, and we are over here on FIU Evan Miko's POV. I think we have 11 people in room here. So we're just waiting on one last person, and then we can commence to game 2, which is where game 2, honestly, is just such an important game. It's just will FIU just see the season close out for them right here, right now, or will they be able to push it to a game 3 and leave us on a cliffhanger? Because we are not doing game 3 tonight, because that's the magic of tonight. So you gotta wait. You gotta wait to see what happens next time for game 3.
yeah, no, for sure. We are. Let's see, what's the situation actually? Let me take a look. We got 11 players in a room. We will be starting very soon. It looks like, I think it's. Yeah, it looks like I'm here from Michigan as well. They have one player in the bathroom, and then we will get started as soon as they are back. So we will have game 2, potentially the final game of our first playoff match at all of the season, actually, is about to happen.
Yeah, because the last game that was casted was last night of the regular season. That was against UGA and Bama, which is, a pretty big Southeast rivalry. I mean, I think, you and I both live in Georgia, so we're very familiar with this, intense rivalry.
Being on the, kind of being in a spectator stance of that is always a little bit fun. From my, kind of in the box seats, really, if anything, for it. All the way down from D5, looking up at the D2 play-in match.
Yep. All right. Still at 11 people. Hopefully they'll be sliding in here soon. I've been trying to
I have great
decipher
news.
what the
I have
Dynamo
such good
Ping
news.
was.
Zoronic is joining the room right now.
Oh, let's go. Zoronic saving the day.
And while we are here, I have more things to announce. Do not forget that in addition to all the events we announced earlier, we also, this Friday actually, we have the CKL March Madness Tournament. It is going to be a 3v3. There's only 6 players in a room. It is going to be fast-paced. It is going to be a lot of fun. Signups are still open. You can play with anybody who borders your state you go to college in. You cannot daisy chain states. So Florida, Alabama, and Georgia are allowed, but California, Oregon, and Washington would not be okay. If you guys... are interested in doing that, you can sign up, as with all the other things before, in the announcements chat for CKL, or in the link that I am going to throw in the chat in a second.
And we are now going into race 1 of game 2. And it looks like UM is starting off with High Rule Circuit, which is a pretty solid runner track here that actually has a pretty solid amount of catch-up potential here. Because, at the very end, having a star, avoiding that plant that's in the Nisk is very big. And cutting off that last corner before the ramp can also net you a spot or two if the pack is tight. So we'll see how well can take advantage of this track pick, because this game matters a lot.
Yeah, no, especially if can start off in a lead again. I think that just could be the perfect thing they have to set them up for a clean 2-0 win right now. Zoronic is going to get the middle boost panel as well. There's a lot of Michigan in tops right now. It looks like it's a bit split between the two, but I'm seeing Michigan in 1 and like 5 and 6. Doing a really good job getting the top so early. And Zoronic having double shrooms as well, so high up, is so good.
Yep. Zoronic is going to be able to shroom up here, and now we see a decent bit of tops from with one FIU player breaking in. So, that one FIU player is kind of surrounded at the moment, so we'll see if they can do any sort of damage to our players up here from But it looks like Zoronic is going to be holding on to this shroom up here, which is pretty lucrative, just because if a blue comes out, Cat is not screwed. And
Zoronic in 1 now with the shroom, yeah.
Zoronic here. Yeah. So now Zoronic is in a prime spot here. Just opting to take the shortcut here, risking the chance of there being potentially a blue. I mean, there is an FIU player down there, or actually 2, I think.
There's a couple, yeah, but there's also such a gap in 1 and 2. Look at the minimap.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the FIU players down there, you got to think, like, there could be a blue, but you are nearing the end of the race where, it is kind of starting to set in that I think this might be a top 2 coming in for
The line fail there is a little bit unfortunate. I don't think it'll make a difference, though. It's looking like... with the shock, though, it could. There was a really high up FIU dodge. I think they might be able to pass some people here at the end. I think they're just going to hang on to the top 2, yeah. But it is all FIU behind them.
There's a ton of FIU behind them.
They've got top 2 and nothing else.
Nope. Yeah, 3 through 6 for FIU. So, yeah, that is just...
barely a win for Michigan.
For top 2. Yeah.
But still, having top 2 and only a 2-point win.
Yeah. I mean, kind of scary.
Which, to be fair, if you're Michigan, any win does keep the pressure up. Like, you can keep the pressure up at all.
There is...
There's really good tracks on the screen right now. There's 2 really good tracks on the screen.
I'd say there's one. There's one decent track on the board right now. But you know what? Now there's 2 decent tracks on the board.
Yeah, Sydney and Cheap Cheap Beach, and Twisted Mansion is the bad track.
Twisted Mansion and Cheap Cheap Beach are, and we are going to certainly a track.
The most fun drafter. The most fun drafter. That's a
the most annoying drafter with snooze fast turns with.
So why don't you like this track? I would love to know. What's the beef with Sydney?
This track, okay. This track has I don't know what it is, but Nintendo has integrated melatonin within this track's like course design.
I didn't know how does. Is that like how they put like the stuff on the cartridges?
It radiates melatonin through your screen. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it does. This track just I don't know. If you can draft on it, though, I mean, I guess you can make it work, unless you get Sydney sprinted at the end through the Opera House. But we'll see how many survivors we have today coming out of the building. So
I think most people tend to survive when they go to the Sydney Opera House. If you've ever gone to the Sydney Opera House and died, please let us know.
Yes. Anyways, we have Zeronic in second place here, holding a Shroom. And we have Cat starting to make a little bit of a breakaway, but that is also a good bit of bottom spots for here. So they're going to have to try to find a way to make up all these spots. But luckily, people do get Sydney sprinted at the end, so they probably can make these spots back.
It is kind of a similar story to what we saw at the end of the last race, where Michigan's got this top 2 and there was so much FAU behind them. There's a lot of really nasty back spots coming up here, though, if Zeronic wants to go for it.
Yep. Coming on to this glider here, we are nearing the end of lap 2. And coming into the last item set of the lap as well, Zeronic getting the UMT glider here. And
Blue's out, though.
There is the blue. Gotta be careful, Ed. It doesn't do too much. Lots of reds headed Zeronic's way. Gotta be careful of them. And now Zeronic is in first place here. And we see lots of mixed spots here. So we'll see what Zeronic can do to hold on at the very end.
There's a couple Michigan up here in the tops. It looks like, honestly, that's not the worst ghost in the world. So close to the item set. You know, like you've got your coin in front if another ghost comes into play. There's a lot of Michigan in the tops. Yeah, I see one Michigan in the middle. I think that's 2 in the back. If this is like a top 3 and then like a 6 and bottom 2, that's honestly really solid for them. Blue's out though. What is?
Oh no! Gotta
a little
be careful.
bit of a slowdown.
Oh, it's right in the middle. So, but I don't think it hits any of the.
It didn't hit
teammates.
anyone. So
Cat is going to be coming up at the very end. So that is going to be
running into the wall.
Unfortunate line fall at the end. But
Is this a top
luckily,
4?
It was only a teammate that
top
passed.
4.
It might have been a
Yeah.
top 4. Top 4, 9-10 for Michigan.
That is a 24-point gain, which is really, really solid for Michigan there. Just immediately putting on the pressure so early into this second match. Of sang a 26-point lead so quickly is really, really solid for Michigan. I'm thinking back on game 1. I'm not sure if they ever lost the lead as I think back on it. I think it got tied a few times, but I think Michigan was able to hold on to lead the entire time.
Yeah, one thing I'm looking at the chat over here as well. Momeat is being a little bit of a sneaky salamander, you could say, in the chat. $20 on Cat winning this race. We'll see how well that ages. Yeah, because the chat, they're in the past, and it looks like now they're wanting to pick Water Park because this is game 2 and they need to make as big of a break as they can here. And it looks like they are going to be getting Water Park, which is really good for them because they are in prime spots for it.
Also, getting to dodge playing Cheeseland is also a big benefit as well. Just kind of in general, I would say. But, having a top 4 for Water Park is super, super solid. FIU has been able to capitalize on very similar spots that Michigan has had like this before. So we will see if the same thing sort of continues to happen. But I think they can probably hold tops on Water Park fairly easily. That's what it's such a good runner for.
Yeah, and Cat was in first, who was inside drift. So, yeah, Cat can definitely take advantage of being up there as an inside drift player. But we're switching over to Evan Miko's POV, who caught up all the way to second here. So we'll see how well he can break into first here, because Zeronic is going to start making a bit of a breakaway. Chucking that red up right after the item set is really good, but that is a ton of players that Evan's going to have to plow through to make it in up there. Chucking those reds up, picking them off one by one. Getting hit by the triple greens is really unfortunate, though.
Yeah, FIU has made some really good things work on this match. Infamously, they got a top 6 on primetime before on this track. They could make it happen again, but I think if they did, they're going to have to start putting some work in right now. Because we're seeing that top 2 from Michigan as well. Such a big break.
Yeah, we have Evan Miko sitting in 10th right now, so he's going to be able to chain his Shroom up here into the item set. Not able to quite chain it into the double here, but he does pull a bill, which, he is going to, get some good value out of. Top 2 is just breaking away, so right now FIU is just kind of in a position of they need to salvage everything behind top 2 the best they can.
Yeah, and I think it's a Michigan top 3 even. It does look like they've got somebody from Michigan back there in 12th, but I see a couple Michigan in the middle spots as well. Oh, the bomb, too, I think just killed at least one person from FIU.
Players. Yeah, everyone got to be careful with these triple greens. Not take out Botan here. And it looks like he has the star in pocket. Not going to be too much for him at the very end. And yeah, looks like that is going to be top 3 for University of Michigan here. Really great performance from them. And now they can pick another runner to benefit their spots even more. And FIU, they really got to pick a track that they can take over these top spots on.
No, you can definitely still rein Michigan in here. They're only up 44, and they've bled through so many really strong tracks for them now. I think it's just a matter of, as FIU, you have to kind of look and identify like what is the track we can shut down this momentum with. And I think that, I mean, they got to pick that out soon, right? Like, I think if you can't really break the lead back or even let Michigan start creeping away with it even more, like even if Michigan gains maybe 10 points in the next 3 races, they're now up 50 something halfway through the game. Yeah, Gorge honestly is probably the track to just get the momentum reset and kind of like clamp them down a little bit.
Yeah, especially since we have Michigan here with 2 inside drifts. They are going to get hit pretty hard by Mushroom Gorge, but we are going to Wild Woods instead, which is another track that is very good for those top spots. So right now, FIU, they're just not getting the trap picks they need at the moment, honestly, because they just need stuff to just reset everything, right? They just need to like reset what's going on, because having top 3 is or having top 3 is not very good for them, and 2 of them burning out also isn't very good. So they're really gonna have to play the comeback game right now. They cannot wait and stall to just bring it back later.
Yeah, no, I think I mean, we saw in Snesbo in the first game, they were able to turn that into a pretty good race for them. Pulling triple greens on top of your teammate, though, is not going to be the way to do it. Ugh, there's so many of them in the back right now, and Michigan's got so many tops. There's a Peachette up there, I think, for FIU, but that is it for the tops on this track, and you need somebody up in there just being able to throw attack items and kind of shut down the breakaway, because that's how you stop those giant breakaways from forming.
Yep. I guess another way they can do it is with all of these bottom spots, they can take advantage of it, because despite, they have a lot of top spots. Yes, okay, I did see Ryan over there on the left for Michigan, because despite Michigan having all of these top spots, they can't just have nobody in the back. And it looks like there is a blue out right now, because that is going to be pretty good for FIU, because they need something to break up those top spots. And now we have Evan chilling with triple shroom star in 9th place here. So yeah, often slow down here for a better box. Maybe they can pull something pretty solid here, some good power items, but only triple shroomed is what we'll be seeing today.
It does look like they have broken into that breakaway a little bit. There is still FIU in the bottom 2, but it looks like there's a blue Yoshi and that Peachette up there, and then a couple of blue Yoshis in the middle as well. Have definitely kind of reined in Michigan a little bit here. I think it is still an okay race for Michigan, but it's single-digit win, if anything, right now.
Yep. Yeah, really just having to pull out that bill now with the red targeting you. So now we see the bill getting him all the way up to 5th place here. Gonna have to pop that star soon going into this item set.
Yeah, the race is almost done, yeah. I think at this point, that star takes you to the finish line. And having trip greens too, you might be able to snipe 4th from Zeronic.
Yeah. It's not going to be
doesn't
enough,
yeah
the lap 4 hit though, the lap 4 hit, but yeah, that is, they got first 1-3. Wait, they actually made that back really well. They definitely took advantage of it there. I think that was actually a really solid performance from them. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that was like 2-4, and then I think 7 through 10, I want to say.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's all of a sudden a really good race for FIU.
Yeah, because at the start, like I wasn't looking too promising for FIU, but it looks like they are actually kind of able to swing that into their favor there a decent bit. So now FIU, it is their turn to pick a runner here. So hopefully they finally get a track pick that puts this match a little bit more towards in their favor.
Yeah, they did still get bottom 2.
A little more in their favor.
I didn't quite catch every single point they just scored, but they did still get bottom 2, which is going to kind of dampen the gain a little bit. But honestly, you take whatever you can get, right? Like, even just being able to kind of reverse that momentum swing and bring it back in your favor a little bit is really good.
I think all the spots they got was like 1, 3, 5 through 7, or maybe I'm adding an extra spot in there for no reason.
That Peachette has been messing me up counting it, yeah. Because I'll see the 6 yellow in the Peachette. We should get a glance at the overview. That was 8 through 11 actually for Michigan.
Yeah. So now we're going into race 5 here. We are nearing the halfway point, and this is less than a 40-point diff. So if FIU gets an extremely good race in, this is really close to even.
Yeah, or even two
And
more decent
unfortunately,
ones.
getting stopped by the train here.
And it looked like Evan didn't quite see who was in first place, but whoever that was, they did burn out the start as well. So all of a sudden, now you've lost all the top presence. Can't quite tell who's in first right now, but I do think it is some yellow up there. It's a Michigan top 3 right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is really powerful for them right here.
And
yeah,
so many shrooms up here too.
Mm-hmm. So in here with 2 shrooms.
You know, you have to get your person with shrooms. You have to get somebody in between them to protect them, or that's what happens.
Yep. Yeah, Zaronic chilling down here with a shroom and a red. You know, trying to get that red out here just to be a little bit aggressive. But, yeah, it looks like they have a ton of these tops. And Evan is chucking that blue up towards Michigan. So that is going to be pretty good for them. And unfortunately not able to get the double, which is really unfortunate. He's got to use his golden now. Yeah, I can't really hold on.
You have to start catching up. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we see lots of FIU bottom spots here, which is kind of unfortunate.
Especially with so many Michigan
into some of the
tops
last
too.
few item sets here.
I think there's only 2 more sets of boxes left
bill
right now.
You see 2 bills in play from FIU. This could be good for them. There's lots of stars, I think, from Michigan. Gotta be careful of his teammate Star. Barely dodging the banana. He's staying on the left here. Oh my gosh, that Star got so close to hitting him.
Triple reds, but it's just teammates in front of him though right now. I don't think he could do anything with the triple reds. I think that's a Michigan top 3 now because of that. And yeah, blue coming after the line. Looks like Michigan did get kind of knocked
everything
way
behind top 3.
far
That's a
back.
guaranteed
Top 4.
Yeah, that is a really solid game for Michigan here. Extending their lead even further.
Yeah, that was a 16-point game. They did have bottom 2, which did dampen that win a little bit, but still 16 points when you're already up 32 is great. And it's now putting them at a 48-point lead after race 5 of game 2. Yes, I mean, FIU, I mean, they've shown... I mean, they just showed 2 races ago. They absolutely can get pretty good races. I mean, that was a 12-point race they had. Mm-hmm. It was followed by a Michigan pick that there was a plus 16 on, which isn't great, but... You know, I think you just sort of hit the point of, like, if you can manage to, like, find those couple tracks that can really help you bring it back in your favor, Michigan has no gas left in the tank now, because, like, now they're going to, like, Piranha Plant Slide, another really good inside favored runner. But after this, I feel like Water Park, Piranha Plant Slide, and Paris are kind of the big 3 inward favored runners, at least in my eyes. And getting rid of all of those 3, you're not really left with anything.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, I think there's lots of other really good tracks that they can take advantage of as well. But it looks like we are going to Waluigi Stadium, which was FIU's pick. So this track is actually going to be really good for them just because of this big dirt or mud shortcut that we see here at the start after this first big boost ramp coming up. So we'll see how many of them can pull shrooms and cut up, because this could be pretty good for FIU.
Yeah, no, Michigan having all top 4 means almost none of them were going to be pulling shrooms, and FIU having so many shroom spots means they're just all able to shroom up, and then all of a sudden it's a runner now, and then they're gone in like top 2, top 3. Like we're seeing already, that looks like Blue Yoshi's in top 2, with that one in first having a bit of a breakaway already.
Yep, first is starting to get a little bit of a breakaway, and we see Evan, who has shrooms back here. He's going to try to find a way to make his way back up into the top spots here. So he is chilling in ninth at the moment. We'll see if he chains his shroom here. Looks like he is, yeah. And unfortunately,
I think he might be opting to stay back and bag a little bit. I've noticed him staying in ninth a lot so far.
Yeah. And you know, right now it's 50-50 for each team. So for shock odds, obviously, but right now the pack is really close. So I don't think we'll be seeing shock.
There are some FAU tops, though. That looks like I see at least first. I see 3 blues up there. The Peach as well is really high up. There's a lot of Michigan in the back, though. I think they are doing a good job making sure they've got at least one person in the back, though. Just not giving Michigan those full odds that are so scary.
Yep, Evan, he pulls out the greens here, trying to green out AJ, but unfortunately gets redded all the way in the back. It is not common. You see one back here, but because of the
Blue's
blooper,
out,
I
though.
wouldn't be surprised if that was a crazy 8. And the blue is out, going for FIU, so maybe that is going to be enough for UM to break open these top spots and really
That's
like
Peach Jet in
crack
one.
on the catch-up time at the very end. But yeah, FIU is holding on to a lot of the top spots still, so this
They've
could
got,
end up
I
being
think, top
really
4
good for
right
them.
now, even. Yeah, let's see over with Zeronic.
Especially-
Yeah, that looks like FIU top 4. Zeronic's their highest spot in 5th. They've only got a mushroom. There's not much they can do to actually break up these tops. At this point, you just have to salvage what you can. Maybe you can pull a red last second, or like a Rang, make something happen. Might be able to pass Sans right here with some good shroom timing. Oh, losing at the last second too,
yeah.
falling back to 6th.
But I
That
think
shroom
this
timing
was
really
good for
unfortunate.
them.
Yeah, top 4,
Top
10,
four.
11.
Ooh, the 10-11's a bit bitter, but I mean the top 4 is really key to their success here.
It's a better race than
this
Michigan just
slowly-
had, for sure, yeah.
Oh yeah,
That almost cut that lead in
the
half.
point diff.
It's
the
the
point diff
28
is
now,
actually
yeah.
Yeah, 28 point diff is really good for them because, yeah, it was looking a bit grim for them until that happened. So, yeah, this is actually really good. And now UM is forced to pick not a runner here. They're going with Tokyo, and we'll see what FIU picks as their runner of choice.
Yeah, no, I think we saw, looking at the differentials as we've been going between the races, it's Michigan has had their foot on the gas pretty much the entire time. They went from up 2 after 1 to 26 after race 2, and then we went 26 to 44 to 32 to 48, back to 28. So FIU has pretty much canceled out the last, I think with that one race, they've canceled out the last couple of races, and they've definitely, it's like, you know, like a little bit of heat is back on Michigan now. They're not up by nearly as much as they were before. Like, they can reclaim the lead with one race.
FIU.
DK Mountain is a very good track where they can make it happen, yeah.
Yeah, but I will say, this is FIU's track pick, and they did not choose a runner. Not gonna lie, for top 4, this is a really interesting track pick, actually. So, I think what FIU is starting to realize is that they need to pick tracks that shut down their inwards. Because one of the players we see up in the front in a lot of these races is Cat. So, I mean, having something to shut down inside drift players could be really good for FIU, considering that's almost half their team.
Yeah, we're seeing people staying back already during lap 1, which is a little bit early. The shock's not going to be in play yet. You're not going to have blues you can pull yet. That is going to take till 30 seconds, but it could mean, honestly, with how far the tops are, we could see somebody in the back pull it just the second set.
Yep, and now we see Zeronic just trying to survive the mid pack here, just getting around those barrels.
And as I said, Evan has shock from the second set off of a single box
that
too,
might
I
be
think.
the earliest DKM shock I've ever seen. That is super early, but they got to do something with it soon because assuming Ryan is popping that X button, I mean, oh yeah, he definitely sees that shock now. He has got to be careful.
Especially this early. I mean, a second one's going to get pulled, maybe even from Michigan if you're not careful. Like, multiple shocks can be in play. I don't know how long he's been holding it, but we have finished the lap now from that second set. So I don't know when the shock is going to get used. Looks like they might be using it to cancel the blue shell if I had to guess, but that is a little bit predictable. I think we'll see some Michigan dodge here. Yeah, it looks like at least one dodge in the build from Michigan, yeah. That, I don't know if that canceled the blue.
That was a Michigan shock. I know it was a Michigan shock because,
because Evan,
he didn't get to use the shock. He didn't get to use it.
No, Evan would have gotten hit by it though. So that was Evan's shock.
No, he did because he doesn't have his crazy 8 anymore.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it was just shocking 12. Right.
Yes. So yeah, Evan is just like, you know, he's got to make a comeback game now because unfortunately getting the UMT on the cut here, burn all of your shrooms, use that build because he is not in a great position right here.
Yeah, all of a sudden they go from being able to shock cancel
bill.
blue and to shock bluing themselves too. Such a good play by Michigan there with the shock as well. There are still some FIU in tops. I think I see FIU in 2, I see in 4, and a lot of mid spots. It's a lot of Michigan in the back right now, but that's honestly still really scary too because another shock very well could be in play. And if it is, you're giving Michigan such good odds to pull it.
Yep. And right now we see Michigan is in top spots here. I mean, yeah, you're honestly just gonna need to pop that star and throw that blue.
You gotta throw that blue right now, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is gonna hit first place after the lineup. Not if the shock though. Maybe not with the shock. I think I think first is safe. First should be safe.
Yep. He's got to pop
This
that
build will
build
do a
now. Yep.
lot of work, yeah. Especially with these top spots still being shocked.
It's gonna net him some spots. Only
Looks like
passing
FIU getting
teammates, so it doesn't
FIU
really
did
do
get a
that
lot of
much.
spots though. Looks like FIU's got a lot of mid spots from it.
I think they got everything behind top 2.
Oh no,
they
3,
Ooh,
7,
wow.
9, 11, 12.
Wow. got 9 bottom 2 there. That is really, really big, actually.
It's a gain for FIU, yeah. They're only down 22 now. Yeah, I think this pick was probably, if I had to guess, that pick was probably just being an anti-inside track, which I mean, I think at this point they've picked 2 anti-inward tracks in a row and it's worked out both times. So
that might be the key to their success. I mean, they're bringing this match a lot closer now, so they can just kind of keep up doing what they're doing, and this could be pushed into a game 3.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's much reason to. I don't think there was really much reason for FIU to like stop what they're doing, especially because like if this doesn't work, they're done. Like not just for the match where it's like, oh, it's a loss, we can like recover and go next. It's like your season ends if you can't manage to win a 3rd game here, and if it does, then you've got a little bit of time because this 3rd match is getting rescheduled. You can go maybe like pick a track that maybe none of you know. Like you pick some random track you've never seen before, and you're like, all right, we're gonna learn this. We're gonna bring it to game 3. That's gonna be our ace up our sleeve to win. But you still have to get to that point.
Yeah, now we're headed onto Koopa Cape here, which is a really solid shroom up track here. So we'll see how many shrooms are pulled and see how many people take. Wow,
Nice
really
green
good
at
green
the
from
start,
Evan.
yeah.
That was
Immediately
super
giving
good
his team
from
a
him.
top 2.
Yep, but it's not over yet for this early lead because that shortcut right there, we see lots of people cut up here, and it looks like we see top 2 from here. So yeah, and SFB is trailing that red, so Evan is gonna have to do some decent spacing to make sure he doesn't get hit by it, and he is opting to not go for items here, which is really interesting because he's got to get something to, crack into that top 2.
That's the thing, yeah, is like, especially with Cape after this first lap, like SFB can do so much work to start giving Cat a break and just keep anyone out from tops. Triple nanas honestly aren't the move here because something like that happens to you where you just get fired out. And now Cat's got all this time to keep building the run, just dodging that Goomba. But there's only one item set in your line and it's a single box. So if you don't get it then, you've just got to wait so long before you can get another box. Yeah, wrong way drift here, really unlucky as well. There is a boost panel that'll get rid of this blooper soon, which should help a little bit get back on track. Getting the box as well is really nice.
Yeah, we see lots of players start to make a pretty good breakaway here. So
look at
right
this
now,
break Cat
FIU
has. That is
Cat is
already starting
to
lap
get a
3.
Yeah, starting to get a mad breakaway here. And now we see FIU is they're gonna have to do something because top 3 is getting a little out of hand, and the bump is really unfortunate for Evan here. Popping that star instantly just to try to recover here. We'll see what he can do to like make it happen here. But we see a P-Chat up there from FIU starting to make their way up there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, they do. They're recovering some spots. It does look like Michigan will probably be able to hold on to one, barring anything crazy, just with how much of a gap they have. Triple Red can do a lot of work right now. If there's a star in front of you, that's going to block it a little bit.
Oh, he did kill one of the players, though. So now he has one more red chucking it up. Oh, no, I think that might be going for one of his teammates, but I think he had protection there. Yeah. They get everything behind top 2 again, I think. Yeah. 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. Wait, I think that was bottom 2 for though, so that wasn't as big of a gain, I think, as it could be for them. But we'll see. I mean,
yeah, I believe it was
pretty close races.
Yeah, so I think it was top 2, 5, 7, and then bottom 2 for Michigan. Then, it's still a pretty solid race for them. It is a gain, it's just not a huge one, which isn't. Which, if you're Michigan, that's honestly fine enough. It's just not. It's not what you need, especially with so little time left, because they're now down to the last GP. Like you are running out of time to make something happen.
Yep, and it looks like we are going to be going to Twisted Mansion from FIU. they are now getting a lot of their track picks, which is really, really good for them because you know what? That's kind of what they need here, not gonna lie. And we are going into the last Grand Prix of Game 2. And not gonna lie, this is probably the most stressful moment for both teams here. Stressful for Michigan because they have to maintain this lead for 4 more races, but also stressful for FIU because they gotta find a way to win this and bring it to a Game 3. And it is going to be pretty difficult. And it looks like we have Evan, unfortunately, getting killed really hard at the start. And that is a ton of yellow up at the front. So, yeah.
I mean, there's got to be
we're
some
gonna have-
blue up there somewhere. There just can't be that much yellow.
Yeah,
I'm
I
seeing some
think-
blue
yeah,
peeking
just-
out in the middle. Okay, but there is still
Yeah.
a lot of Michigan tops. But honestly, Twisted Mansion top spots really don't guarantee much other than that you're in the lead in that moment. You know, shock is almost always happens on this track. Blues are really common. There's so many great stream up opportunities.
Yep, such as the bookcase one and the one that we might see Evan go for right here, going through the graveyard. Unfortunately, not going for it and gets stuck on one of the little the statues with the hammer. And yeah, he's kind of just in the back here. Maybe he can pull something like a blue or a shock for his team. He gets a bill, so that's going to be some pretty good catch-up potential here. Opting to go around for coins is a pretty smart play. Burning all of his shrooms so he can get another item at the set here as he pops his bill. I said 2 words at the same time.
Yeah, pulling Bill Golden here, I think this bill will at least run out before the next set, but you're still losing so many more opportunities to chain even more. And Michigan, they do have to pull to be able to break up the tops. They don't just magically break themselves up. I'm not sure if Florida has the tools to do it right now if they can't pull the shock.
Getting
or even the
by
blue.
the tree also isn't great. We'll see what he can do to kind of like make up some spots here. Unfortunately,
Just got hit by
green
something.
back here.
At this point, yeah. Bill
pop the
Golden
bill
though, you're just locked out of pulling so much more. Like even if he pulls it this next set, he's got to wait for all of the golden to run out. And that's so much longer at that point. Like you look at the mini map, and yeah, pulling
It's
a bill. I
another
think
though.
I don't think he can pull anymore. Just maybe at this final set. But at that point, look how close all of Michigan is to the finish line. Like it's not going to do nearly as much as it could, and it's triple shrooms anyway. It's a shockless, blueless, Twisted Mansion. I cannot believe that.
Yep, and that is looking like a really good race for Michigan here. I can't lie. Yep, that is a top 3 for Michigan. That's a guaranteed gain for them. So
Yeah, they're back
it's
up by
getting a
over 40.
little
Yeah,
tight.
Michigan is
Yeah,
up by
this is looking
44 with 3 races left.
Yeah, it's starting to look a bit grim for them. They're gonna need some really good races here because, and by really good, they're gonna need like plus 20s and better to make it back. Which they can do it. It's gonna be hard, but I think they can do it. It's just, a lot of things are gonna have to go their way. So we'll see how well they can take advantage of their luck. And we see FIU, they're pulling out Royal Raceway as their track of choice here. Once again, they're getting their track pick, which is, you know, something they kind of just need at this point. That is kind of a necessity for them making it back. And we'll see how well they can take advantage of this because they're going to need some big races. Yeah, and this is top 3 from FIU, from Michigan. So yeah, they're gonna have to get some good drafts here, some good shrooms that they can use after the glider section, and hopefully run away with some good positions. Because this first lap right here, everything before the glider, is always really tight and always pretty scary. You see Evan, yeah, chucking up that red early on,
Looks
but
like there was
gets
some
hit by a
defense, yeah.
green.
Does have the boost panels to recover a little bit, which is pretty good. Yeah, there isn't much you can do right now other than either pull shrooms or pull attack items, and I think depending on what this pull is here, yeah, not a great pull for 6th place. I think with Michigan kind of far in front of Evan, I don't know if there's much he can do right now. Does do a good job dodging that bomb, though.
Yep. Going over to Zoronix POV here. Ooh, the blue is out. Going for Michigan here. So we'll see how well Zoronic can take over these new FIU top spot players. But unfortunately clipping that grass isn't fantastic. FIU has top 2 here, but has everything behind them, so they're just gonna have to find something just to crack into these top 2.
Zoronic getting redded right before the set, though. Fully out of coins, too. It's so little money. In a spot where, honestly, there's not that many coins, especially as they're all being picked up right in front of her. Is definitely opening herself up to getting passed by multiple Michigan players who are all right behind them. Nice screen snipe, though. Just immediately getting that Peachette out of there. And then trailing it right after, too.
Yep.
Fully taking them down with them. And a red coming from down 10th. Oh, wow.
Yeah, from the Crazy 8. Gotta be careful of that bomb, but yeah, right now, it's looking... I don't know, spots are kind of all over the place right now.
FIU's got top 2, and it looks like a 5th. If they got top 2, 5, and some mids, it just becomes a pretty solid race for them, which, I mean, is helpful. But, like, they can have a couple...
They need more than just, like, pretty solid races.
They can have some good races that accompany a big one, but they need that big one somewhere, and there's now only 2 more chances for it.
Yeah, top 2, 5, 7, 10, 11. I don't know. It's looking to be really, really difficult.
It is a good race. That is a pretty good race for FIU. They gained 10 points off it. They're now only down 34.
Oh, okay. That was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's still a 10-point gain is good, but in the context of being down with just two races left, that it's not enough. Like you pretty much need one of these to be a 20-point race, which is kind of a lot.
Yeah, and we see another track pick from FIU is going to be Dragon Driftway, because Dragon Driftway is just a really good, like, runner that is also kind of like anti-inside drift with how tight some of the stuff is. So it is going to be kind of difficult for the inside drifters to navigate it. But we'll see what track we get here. Yeah, we are getting Dragon Driftway. FIU, they are getting the track picks. So that's
good.
The
first step. But yes, that is the first step. Yes,
but
and
they're gonna have to
is
take
pretty rough for
advantage
inside
of them.
too. It's not great for inside. Yeah,
especially because of that NISC, the no item shortcut. That is, you can see it actually just right where the lantern is. That little grass cut up there. That is very difficult for inside drifts to do shroomless. So we'll see if FIU can take advantage of this track pick, because these last 2 races matter so much for them. And for Michigan, they got to find a way to, like, hold it together for these last 2 to make sure FIU doesn't make it back.
Yeah, and if Michigan can get even a slight gain here, it all but guarantees it. They're up 34. If they have a positive race, they're up by at least 36 on the final race. So they can definitely relax a lot. Just pick a track they know they're good at, not get top 6, and they will be in the semis.
Yeah, Zoronic getting sent down to 10th here because the red breaks on the spin booster, but then Zoronic gets redded shortly after, which is quite unfortunate. And now it's looking like a first place for FIU and lots of mid spots here for these players. So
this
we're going to
see... is so tight right now, though.
Oh, yeah. There is not a whole lot of separation. So, yeah, just got to find a way to navigate without dying here. Unfortunately, clipping a little bit of an edge there, but FIU has top 2 here. And if they're gonna want to, like, keep... Oh my gosh, Silver popping a horn there, killing tons of those Michigan players. And Zoronic is now in second with a Shroom here. They're gonna be able to cut up, getting trailed by the Peachette there, almost falling off and hitting the wall there. It is so close. It looks like Michigan, though, on the minimap, they had first for just a split second, but it is back to FIU, and Zoronic is in 10th place with a red, trailing it. Got to get rid of that soon. Cutting over to Evan Miko's POV here. He has a red. He's going to have to chuck this up soon, but he gets off the track.
It is still a top 2 for FIU, with 1 being in a pretty solid position, but they need these mid spots to catch up a little bit more if they want to keep it alive. Top 2 will guarantee a pretty solid race. I think that makes it very hard for Michigan to pull off a guaranteed win, so it does keep the dream alive. But it makes it much, much easier if they can pick up some shots.
Pop that star now, Evan.
You got it, yeah.
All right.
Might be able to pass a couple of people last second. Don't hit your teammate, though.
Yep, we got to stay on the right. Oh, I think he passed one FIU player, but the other people he passed were teammates.
2, 3, 4, 6 guarantees it. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 12.
Yeah, they didn't get top 2. What's it looking like?
Okay, no. That was only a 2-point gain, actually. I think that the 10-12 did more than I thought for FIU. Michigan is up 36. It
Okay.
is possible, but you need a top 5-7 or a top 6. Or I think a
Yep.
top 5-8 or a top 4-6-7 to tie. Um, the
Yeah.
scenarios in which Michigan loses exist, but they are incredibly slim.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, hear me out. If you're Michigan, you pick Baby Park here because Baby Park, it's really, really, really hard to get a big race on. I mean, yeah, I mean that's what I would do, but I think they're going with a track they might just be comfortable on, which is Piranha Plant Cove, which I respect that. And
That's FIU picking
it
Yoshi
looks like
Circuit now.
FIU, yeah, Yoshi Circuit. I guess a bagger they're comfortable with all of their bottom spots, and it looks like we're going to Piranha Plant Cove. So, yeah, this track is honestly just like an if you know, you know kind of track. If you know how to take lots of those big water shortcuts, that cuts off a lot of the turns. If you know how to do that, then you can break away super easily on this track if you know how to take them optimally, that is. So we'll see how well FIU can just take advantage of this because that's what they're gonna have to do if they want to win. They're gonna have to take advantage of this track pick, but we'll see if they're comfortable with it or not.
I see some shrooms up here to start. Evan getting bumped a little bit is gonna opt to then take it. Yeah, using the shroom then I think pretty good recovery with that shroom there. Gonna opt to go right side to guarantee a box as well.
Left
Get a
side.
coin. Left side, you're right, yeah. Definitely the right play. It doesn't lose you much time and it guarantees a double set. And getting double shrooms, honestly, at this point in the track, if he saves this one, is very, very good.
Yep, he's chilling with a shroom in ninth now.
Just dodging that banana.
Barely dodging that
Wow.
banana. Yep. Yeah, and it looks like, see, we see everyone passing because he's just not taking those giant corner cuts that you can by just gliding through the water. And it looks like Evan is going to be chilling in sixth here. Got to be careful of the red from UM right next to him. And it looks like we see, what is he going to pull here? He has triple shrooms, which is pretty solid. The pack is pretty tight, so he's going to find a way just to weasel through everyone. But with Ryan having a red and the red behind him as well, it is looking very scary.
There's a lot of Michigan. That fire is
yeah,
fire's gonna slow him down a little bit. But Michigan's in one. We're seeing Michigan in mid spots as well. It's I mean, even still though, it's not just enough to get Michigan out of one. You have to get them out of all of the top 4 at a minimum to have a chance. And getting crushed by the Thwop is just, I think, even gonna further keep Evan back here. I think he needs right now like a blue shock pull or some equivalent miracle.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're going to need because that last will not be enough for them to gain. But right now, it is looking like a top 2 right now for UM.
And Zoronic still has a shroom in second. Position. Yeah. You're going to be able to use this now. I think it's especially having defense after. I think that probably
cut up,
clinches it.
Get that defense out. Yeah, I think that top 2 is not going to be disturbed. And I think that is going to just solidify this win for UM here.
All right, that guarantees it.
That is the win.
All right, so this means then the AAA Wolverines, University of Michigan's Team 2, is going to be guaranteed to be moving on to the semifinals where they're going to be playing against Virginia Tech. Yeah, top 4 and 8-9 by Michigan. Really, really strong there.
Yeah, very, very strong performance from Michigan. And FIU, props to them. They put up a good fight. I mean, they had I think some of just the events they had just didn't go as well as they planned. But I mean, it's Mario Kart. Sometimes stuff like that just happens. But, great efforts to FIU. This was a very, very solid 2 matches to cast out of this best of 3.
Yeah.
And
an almost identical score to the
Michigan.
first game as well. I think game 1's final score was 525 to 459. And this one, 524 to 460. So really good job by Michigan, pulling off 2 pretty much mid plus 60-point games back-to-back. Really, really good work by them there. They're going to be moving on in a really strong position going into semis.
Yeah, very good stuff from them. All right. Good stuff. Do you know if we're going to have any sort of interview with anybody, or are we just going to close it out?
We will see about that. We will just go ahead and get a check real quick. We will see. I know a big part of why they were only going to be playing these first 2 games tonight was due to some scheduling issues. So, just kind of based on that, I'm not sure if any of them are going to be free for win. But, yeah, give us just a second.
All right, gotta be checking to see if we get any sort of interview here. Just to see what Michigan thinks about going into the semis.
It looks like we might be hearing from Zeronic, who also MVP'd that game too with 110 points.
All right, good stuff. Let's get Zeronic in here in just a little bit.
All right, and we will have Zeronic in here in just a couple of seconds. Hello, congratulations on winning, Zeronic, and welcome.
Hello, thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, nice win from your team over at just netting yourselves a very solid position in semifinals now. Y'all's next opponent will be Virginia Tech. How do y'all feel going with that match on the horizon?
We're feeling pretty good about it. We didn't lose by them or to them by that much in the regular season, and I feel like we've improved since then. And I think with top lineup, we have a strong fighting chance.
Yeah, no, you guys definitely
Yeah.
put in a very solid performance tonight. I mean, 2 like over 60-point wins back to back, especially in that game 2 on a lot of on a lot of Florida tracks towards the end there as well. You guys did a really good job.
We definitely, I would say, got lucky with the track picks in game 1, but game 2 is pretty balanced, and I think we just put up really good numbers when we didn't get the track picks.
Yeah, no, I mean, VT is obviously. I mean, I would imagine you guys might be a little bit scared going to Virginia Tech just because they are 9-0 at this point.
Of course.
But I mean, I think that 9-0 record does belie a couple of really close games in a regular season. Like, I think you guys absolutely have what it takes to beat them.
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking forward to the match. It's going to be an exciting one.
You know, I definitely am too. It also being on the other side of playoffs myself, I am a little bit interested to see how that match turns out in the world that we pick up a couple wins as well. But I mean, you guys had 2 really good wins there today. I think you guys played that best of 3 really well as well. So what other thoughts do you guys have kind of going into what's like, because I mean, I guess you kind of have to imagine, like, obviously you got to plan for if you win, because if you don't, then you're done. What was sort of the initial game plan for, like, okay, like, if we win, now what? How do we deal with the 1 seed? What's the plan going forward for VT?
Our plan going forward for VT is probably going to be similar to what we do here, which is we're gonna pick our main tracks off the bat, and if things don't go well, we're gonna try to burn as much as we can, and try to get, our top tracks. And I would say that there's definitely some unusual tracks that we've picked up just in the past couple weeks that we have a really strong chance at winning with.
All right, I guess also while we're here, was there any moment across either of those 2 games? It might have shown up on stream, it might have not. What was like? Was there any moment that like you wish stream could have seen?
I'm unsure exactly what Stream saw. I think all of the golden moments that I wish Stream could have seen were all of my fails. I know that they saw that DK Summit double fail and what happened at the end of Sunshine Airport.
We saw the Sunshine.
Oh, we saw Sunshine. That was I learned something new because of that. That was really interesting to learn.
Yeah. So I learned some new things about Sunshine Airport today. I would say I had some interesting moments on Koopa Cape too. I think the camera was on Evan for most of that race. I like escaped the pipe or something at one point. Very strange. And of course, the once in a while combo never feels good, but you win some, you lose some.
Yep, that's just what happens in Mario Kart and all that. It's a very interesting game, someone could say.
Yeah.
All right, I want to say,
unless
Wisp, unless you have anything else.
Tonight.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, no, I don't.
I don't have anything else. You covered a lot.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that was but yeah, a great performance, by the way. Just to close it out, great performance from University of Michigan. Like, great stuff, Zoronic. It was very nice watching your POV for the stream today. Fantastic, great performance. Good stuff. And good luck to y'all against Virginia Tech going into next week.
Thank you very much.
Yep. And I think that is going to be all for tonight. Thank you for everyone that came out and watched this. It was very awesome casting this event. Big congrats to the AAA Wolverines for winning this match. And yeah, I guess we'll see y'all next time if we end up streaming the AAA Wolverines versus Virginia Tech. Do you have any last words there, Hockey?
I do not. Go celebrate the win, Zoronic. Thank you for the interview on short notice, and have a great night.
Yeah, of course. Have a good night. Go Blue.